Donald Trump is losing it as Democrats are turning the tables on him, and he can handle it. Former President Barack Obama, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff, they are going on the offense. Let me show you what went down. First, I'm going to show you former President Barack Obama's social media post that got 70 million views, numbers that at this point Donald Trump would dream about, where Obama said in response to the victory by the pro-democracy party in Hungary by Peter Magyar, the victory of the opposition in Hungary yesterday, like the Polish election in 2023, is a victory for democracy, not just in Europe, but around the world. Most of all, it is a testament to the resilience and determination of the Hungarian people and a reminder to all of us to keep striving for fairness, equality, and the rule of law. And then this weekend, Barack Obama, Zohran Mamdani at a school in the Bronx in New York City to talk about child care for all, pre-K for all, health care for all, championing children getting educated for free at a young age, helping families, actually doing things. Let me show you this incredible moment of Obama and Mamdani together, surrounded by kids, joy, empathy. This is what we need to see more of in politics. This is what it should be all about, not Donald Trump ranting and raving like a lunatic. Play this clip.
I know who you are. I know who you are.
Who is he? He's the mayor of New York City. You know my name?
Yeah, I know your name.
What's his first name? That's his name is Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, and then I just have to play this clip for you before I show you Jon Ossoff, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff's incredible speech. Here's Obama and Mamdani interacting with the children, doing the wheels on the bus, and they know that this gets in Donald Trump's head. Here, play this clip.
Wish the wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town.
Is that it? Anything else?
No.
Oh, the beep beep. That's one of the best ones.
Beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus go beep, 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 all through the town.
Then that brings us to Georgia, where Georgia Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff is running for re-election. And this re-election campaign looks like a presidential campaign. Every time I see Senator Ossoff speak, I think presidential, presidential, presidential. Don't get ahead of ourselves because, he's got to win this re-election, but he is up in the polls right now. Here he is in perfect terms, talking about how Kushner and Ivanka and the whole Trump regime are profiteering off of their war crimes. Let's play this clip.
How much do you guys know about Jared Kushner? Ivanka's husband. He's on the Saudi payroll for $2 billion. Did you know that? And now he's leading American diplomacy in the Middle East, apparently while at the very same time asking princes and sheikhs across the Arab world to give him billions more. If you're watching this online, don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. Can you imagine like a normal sitting U.S. ambassador just hitting up Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for billions of dollars? But he's a Trump, a royal, a princeling. The rules are for us, not for them. And it's not just Jared getting in on the action. A company owned in part by Eric and Don Jr. has been pitching Gulf kingdoms on its drone interceptors during this war. The Financial Times reported, quote, Pete Hegseth's broker looked to buy defense fund before Iran attack. I tell you what, never before have we seen so little effort to hide so much corruption. The Mar-a-Lago mafia has taken American corruption to spectacular new heights.
Then Ossoff talks about what the true measure of our success is. Let's play it.
And as long as we don't give in to doubt or despair or division, our victories will be so decisive that no half-baked plot hatched in the White House will foil the will of the people. Because history is calling the question, what kind of people are we? And Georgia is ready to answer once again that the measure of our success is not how many of the poorest and most vulnerable families we hunt down and shackle and imprison and deport. The measure of our success is whether each generation achieves greater health and prosperity than the last, and whether we live up to the promise of equal justice for all. Georgia is ready to send a message that we will bow to no king. So Augusta, are you ready to work? Are you ready to win? Let's get it done. Thank you so much, Augusta. Thank you for being here.
He then talks about how Donald Trump has embarked on a project to rule subjects and to make people suffer. So true. Play this clip.
But today we face a president who's embarked on this unmistakable project not to lead us, but to rule us as subjects. He deifies and enriches himself as he adorns the White House in gold and raises a massive force of masked federal police. The president who once tried to overturn his own defeat now tries to jail elected leaders of the opposition, prosecute Americans who defy or criticize him, and seize control of elections nationwide. As he indulges in careless militarism around the world, he plans a monument to himself so tall, it will disrupt air traffic into our nation's capital. For all this, the founders of our republic must be turning in their graves. But they gave us the tools to fix it. Freedoms guaranteed at our founding, made real through struggle and sacrifice in places like Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall. And of all the freedoms at stake, none is more powerful or precious than the right to vote. In Georgia, we know better than anyone that the election deniers are on the march. The Fulton County raid, the executive order attacking voting, the MAGA loyalists on our state election board, they've made their plans very clear. But Georgians are prepared to answer with a mobilization so massive and with a defense of voting rights so fierce that no plot against the franchise can foil the will of the people. Because how foolish of them to come to the cradle of the civil rights movement, to spread those lies and seize our ballots. How foolish to launch an attack on voting rights here in Georgia at the political and spiritual center of the very black history they seek to erase. Augusta, their attacks only strengthen our resolve. And if all of us here do what we must do, the sound of feet marching to the polls this fall will be heard in every corner of our state and all the way on high where Congressman Lewis will look down and see a job well done. Augusta, are you ready to win? A wave is building. The kind that comes once a generation when people have been pushed too far. And they decide all at once and all together that enough is enough.
He then talks about J.D. Vance coming into Georgia to attack the Pope. Play this clip.
Now, Augusta, I don't know if you saw, but J.D. Vance was in Georgia this week. Don't worry, no one showed up. The stadium was empty. Did you see that? But JD came to UGA to attack the Pope. 2 days after Donald Trump depicted himself as Jesus Christ. The faithless president depicts himself as Christ while he plunges the nation into wars of choice, while he and his family rake in billions from foreign princes, while he plunders our health care to cut taxes for the rich. Meanwhile, rent, power, groceries, and health care have all hit all-time highs this year. This year. Ground beef's up 20% since Trump took office. Coffee, 40%. Health premiums through the roof. And remember, while you pay more for everything, the first family's wealth is growing by billions of dollars. Because they're crooks. And everybody knows it.
All right, one more time. I just got to show you Obama and Mom Donnie, a different clip right here at that elementary school or at that pre-K school here. Play this clip.
Beep, beep, all through the town.
Can I ask, did everybody think that Mom Donnie was the best singer?
Yeah, Mommy's the best.
You're just being nice.
Mom Donnie is the best in the world.
We made sure he was here for today.
DJ Khaled on this pre-K program.
Another one.
Next up, I'll show you Jon Ossoff from this incredible speech talking about this disastrous war and the war crimes Trump is committing. Let's play it.
Here's what we know. Here's what we know. 13 brave Americans killed and hundreds wounded. Thousands of civilians dead. Military equipment it will take years to replace. Skyrocketing inflation. Massive damage to our reputation and position in the world. Meanwhile, Iran's ballistic missiles and drones are not destroyed. We replaced Ayatollah Khamenei with Ayatollah Khamenei. The regime is intact, along with its ability to throttle the global energy supply, along with its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, which it only assembled after Donald Trump shredded President Obama's Iran deal. Do you remember that? See, the Obama administration...
More from Ossoff right here. Let's play it.
Just 2 weeks into this war, the White House told us they'd need $200 billion to fund it. Let me just put that in perspective for you. $200 billion would fund a decade, 10 full years of nationwide universal pre-kindergarten. Instead, a war no one voted for, and no one can explain. And the daily, the hourly lying to the American public about why we're at war, whether we've won, what's been agreed to. Not to mention the insane genocidal threats. Let's review the record. On day 10 of the war, the president said, quote, "The war is very complete." That was day 10. That was day 10. Then day 11, going to be finished pretty quickly. Day 12, we won. Day 21, getting very close. Day 32, leaving very soon. Day 40, total and complete victory. Yesterday, day 49, Trump said Iran had opened the strait, except this morning the strait was closed and it looks like Iran hit a cargo ship.
Then, by the way, you see Donald Trump just sinking in the polls among his core base of non-educated or non-college educated white voters. Let's play it.
It's the group that helped put him in the White House in 2016. And then again in 2024, the group that shifted tremendously from 2012 to 2016 and put him in the White House. We are talking about non-college white voters, and he is sliding right into the water. This is a rut-row moment, to quote the great Scooby-Doo. Trump's net approval rating with non-college whites. Look at this. In February of 2025, it was plus 32 points. Down it goes. Look at Johnny. Johnny is just shocked by this number. And now it is minus 2 points. That is a 34-point shift. And I will note this is an average of polls. This is not just one poll. I've averaged 3 different polls here, 3 big pollsters. And what we see is Donald Trump actually underwater with non-college whites who, of course, put him in the White House. Really moment? Yes, really, John.
Yeah, again, I have to ask, really, because it's a 34-point swing among white voters who didn't go to college, which, again, one of his core groups here. Why? What issues?
Why? I mean, let's talk about the economy. It's the economy, Smarty, when I'm talking with Mr. Berman. Just take a look here. I mean, again, look at this. On the economy, his net approval rating, non-college whites. You go back to February 2025, he was 26 points above water. Look at this shift. Minus 15 points. 15 points underwater with non-college whites when it comes to Donald Trump's net approval rating on the economy. That is an over 40-point shift away from the president with a key core group of his. Ruh-roh.
What about the war?
What about the war? Well, the war ain't helping him because just take a look here. Non-college whites, net approval rating of U.S. military action against Iran, minus 5 points. You think that's low? Come over to this side of the screen. How about Trump on Iran? Minus 13 points. A very unlucky 13 indeed for the president of the United States with a key core group of his. It turns out he's alienating a lot of folks with this war, not just the Pope. So
more from Ossoff here.
And then, did you hear what this man said 2 weeks ago? Quote, "It's not possible," the president said, "for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, or Medicare." He said we can only afford to fund war. Then released a budget demanding $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon next year alone, paid for by ending utility assistance for families, canceling affordable housing programs, and cutting cancer research, all to fund a huge increase for the military-industrial complex. Because draft-dodging Donald loves sending other people's children to war.
And then finally, here was Jon Ossoff's conclusion in his speech. Let's play it.
While he and his family rake in billions from foreign princes. While he plunders our health care to cut taxes for the rich. Meanwhile, rent, power, groceries, and health care have all hit all-time highs this year. This year. Ground beef's up 20% since Trump took office. Coffee, 40%. Health premiums through the roof. And remember, while you pay more for everything, the first family's wealth is growing by billions of dollars. Because they're crooks. And everybody knows it.
There you have it, folks. Democrats taking the fight, messaging, I think, the way where you're like, finally, Obama, Mamdani, Ossoff. And there's so many more I can highlight, but I wanted to share that with you. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.